My business is called Hall, and it's complete rubbish. Our products are garbage, but that's a good thing. So for those who don't know, I'm going to give you a really brief rundown on what the business is, what it does, a little bit about my background, and then come back to a few of my kind of rants and ramblings on the journey, what I've learned, what I should have learned, and hopefully what you'll kind of learn from my learnings, if you like. Hall, for those who don't know, is it's a manufacturing and marketing business. We make recycled accessories, for want of a better term. And what I mean by that is we make laptop sleeves and bean bags and dog collars out of recycled advertising billboards. For the uninitiated, a PVC bond. We make messenger bags out of truck inner tubes. We make kind of quirky little photo albums and journals made out of Exhibit A over there, this gentleman in the middle. Cool, turn around. We make a bunch of stuff out of number plates as well. So the way we describe it is we're taking literally waste or garbage or stuff that's bound for landfill and turning it into high value items. Just regress a little bit. Hall's been running for 10 years. I kind of like to refer to it as it's a 10-year overnight success story. The first 5 years was kind of a hobby, sideline, part-time, weekends, at night, early hours in the morning. And then gradually it's evolved. So I'll go back. My background is fairly uneducated, never went to uni, was dealing cards in a casino when I was a young guy, went travelling overseas, came back, decided I'd go travelling again. I'm originally from Tasmania. That's good. So I decided to travel for a long time, ended up in almost kind of by definition, ended up in the hospitality business because it's a job that I can travel with. Lived in the US for a long time, did odd things, built stages, did sound and lighting for concert tours and promo events. If any of you sat around watching late night TV in the last 15 years, you've seen a guy with big teeth called Tony Robbins trying to flog you success and life pattern type programs. I've built enough stages for Tony Robbins and slept under enough of it while he was doing his speech that I could probably recite them to you verbatim. So did some really odd jobs in the US. By kind of random chance, ended up out in California and worked for a guy that was a really classic kind of cowboy entrepreneur. He owned a sausage factory in Ohio. He owned a bunch of cemeteries in Los Angeles, which he always joked were never related. He owned a bunch of real estate in Arizona, and he also so he's a really wealthy man, and he bought into a share of an oil refinery in Alaska, and that was going to turn him from a kind of a guy worth a couple $100 million to a billionaire. That kind of got off track, but I ended up, he got some word that the real kind of the underground bars that have been happening in New York and to a lesser degree in some places like Boston, that Melbourne's probably the capital component for, were really starting to roll, and he bought some old bar licenses, found some space in California, and I ended up running one of those bars, and then through again, me kind of bouncing in and out, knowing him quite well. He was a part father figure, part mentor, and a guy that I kind of hung out with and also trusted and get worked for at various times. After a period of time, ran his business for him, and great experience for me. I was 25 at the time, and effectively had a guy that was so distracted with his other stuff. I was able to run his business with a little bit of prompting here and there, but it's term OPM, people's money. I treated it like it was mine, but I was playing with someone else's cash. But so a really good learning experience. Went from 3 bars to 11 in about 3 bars to 11 in 3.5 years. Then went to see the movie Swingers. A bunch of the bars that we had were actually part of the backdrop of that. A little bit of Los Angeles, a little bit of the beach area, south of LA, and then a lot of it in San Diego. So from him, kind of caught that entrepreneurial bug where you're used to doing your own thing, come up with an idea, pull the trigger, you're relatively autonomous. He was a great supporter, great manager, kind of great mentor in terms of my experience with him and stuff I learned with him. And really good when he got into trouble. He was just a guy that had done a lot of stuff as a really, really young guy and had kind of, he'd gone through all the experiences that you were probably about to go through, maybe in different businesses, but he was really good at assessing things, being really calm when everyone else was kind of losing their head. So from that, I ran that business for a while. He got divorced. We had to sell off some of that stuff. I thought I'd lived in the US long enough and bolted, went to live in Ireland for a while, and ended up in the marketing department of a software company, which was a really good experience for me. It taught me a lot about selling inside a system and kind of really good place to formulate my ideas as opposed to being really, scattergun, ramshackle, cowboyish, which was great in the industry we're in, but it was rapidly growing as I look back on it now, and it was really easy to do anything and it kind of worked. So living in Ireland was a really good experience for me on a worldly level, but also on a kind of a structured level. Came back to Australia at the end of the 90s and decided that I was going to start my own business. Went back to Tasmania and basically sat around for a while and thought, all right, what am I going to do? Had a whole bunch of ideas, wasn't sure which of them were really had legs. I've been away for a long time. And one of the things I'll talk about later about starting a business, what kind of helps when you're in the point of when you want to start is what you've got in front of you. I'd been away for a long time, so I had no form in Australia, I had no old school tie, the connections I had were all living elsewhere, so I wasn't going to be able to get a loan, I didn't have a network of people I could draw on to get capital. The ideas that I had, some of them partly were .com, some of them were kind of mowing, kind of franchise type stuff, and none of those were really I was able to get off the ground for various reasons. It was also around 2000, right when the .com crash happened, so that all kind of died in the So basically the whole as a business started as Urban Boomerang, which I thought was a really cool name at the time. It was kind of like recycling, boomerang, and then just coming back. But it's really kitchen horrible. So we kind of got rid of that after a few years. But ultimately, I had seen these guys in Pennsylvania that were kind of covering old bird houses and making stuff out of old number plates, license plates they call them in the States. I thought that's kind of a weird idea, but I could do stuff out of it and really capture that travel market. So we started making photo albums. Literally, was living near my parents, driving back to their place, working in my dad's garage. So at 28 or 29, I was kind of like I was 17 again and kind of going back to mum and dad's place, which is a really good experience in terms of reconnecting with your family, but odd experience in that working environment, when your mum decides to answer the phone. Scott's not here right now. Oh, he's in the toilet. We'll call you in a second.